Hi, this is Christian, and this is my independent reading project. Let's go! Do you know what the art of war is? The art of war depends on 5 factors: the quality of the ruler, weather, terrain, military, leadership, and the state of the army. It also depends on the strategies of the generals. War should also forage on the food of the country it invades, capture weaponry from the enemy and use it against them, and treat kindly any prisoners so that they might be induced to join the invaders. See, this book was everything about wars and strategies, and it was a very, let's say, sagacious book. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so the book title is Art of War. And literally it's a book about war, how countries do in a war, and like their strategies and what they have to keep in their mind while in war. So the author of this book was Sun Tzu, who's a Chinese military general, strategist, philosopher, and writer who lived during the Eastern Zhou period. This Chinese man lived from 554 BC to 496 BC. He lived a pretty long life. He was a very smart general because of his strategies and the facts he provided in his book. I could tell he was very smart because all the stuff in his book. The plot of this book. Sun Tzu wrote a lot about generals and strategies, like I already said. He also wrote about how an army should move, like through terrains and camps. And one thing he said that I wrote down was like, this is not a quote, but like this is a summary of what he said. Perceptive generals take advantage of changing situations by abandoning plans that no longer work. They also check any tendency on their own part toward impatience, anger, fear, pride, and worry. So now, to the themes of the book. Sun Tzu prioritizes planning above all else. An unplanned war is a disaster waiting to happen, but a carefully planned one has a good chance of success. That is a really good theme, because everything, even in your daily life, is evolved around strategizing. Because like, even in school, you gotta strategize like what you're doing, like which classes you're taking, and like if you're gonna pass or fail them, like Mr. Dowdy's class. Alright, next theme. War plans must take into account the terrain and weather in the state to be contested. Different types of terrain call for different actions. Difficult terrain should be worked around. Valuable wide and flat terrain will need to be occupied quickly before the opponent gets to it. Passes and cliffs must be taken as well. Weather also affects maneuvers. Windy conditions might make a fire a useful weapon, while rainy conditions may offer a chance to divert rivers to flood the enemies. These themes show how smart he really was. So the main characters in the book, it was mostly just General Tzu, and but what I found about him is that he's a very intelligent person. He makes the good strategies, and you'll see it in his philosophy and quotes in the next slide that shows how good of a character he is. So this is one of his quotes. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline. Those are 5 very philosophical things. And another one is hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder, and crush him. Alright, critique. This is an amazing book, but I imagine it as a book with a good plot, characters, and battles. This is an excellent book, but my critique is that someone should make a live action or something for it. Would I recommend the book? 100%. You will learn a lot for it, and has great quotes and philosophy. That is it. Hope you enjoyed.